When you talk to people about the goals that they're setting around their money, you might hear things like, I just want to feel better about my money, or I just want to feel comfortable. The thing is, these are feelings, and feelings aren't plans. Now, saying things like, I want to be comfortable, or I want to feel independent, well, these aren't wrong feelings at all. But none of them are specific enough to build wealth. And that's where I want you to be in order to grow your wealth. Hi, my name is Leanne. I'm a CPA as well as a trauma of money certified practitioner. And on this channel, we talk about the emotions and the math when it comes to your money. This is not personal advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always consult a qualified professional before making any major investment decisions. You can't build wealth on a feeling. You need a destination. And that destination has to answer the question, what does financial freedom mean for you? In answering this question, you want to be very specific to two things. One, that you're answering the question for you, not what somebody else thinks it might be for you. You want that answer to be the answer that is real for your life. Secondly, you want the answer to be specific. We're going to need numbers and dates in order to reach that destination. So instead of saying, I want to feel comfortable, you might instead say, by the end of next year, I want to have 3 months worth of living expenses in my emergency fund. Or if you say, I want to be free with my money. But to translate that, you might say, I want to be able to travel every year for 1 week in the winter and know exactly how much that costs. So 1, goals that are specific to you, and 2, numbers and dates in order to achieve them. Now, once you know your destination, it's often good to know where you're starting so we can map to that destination. But here's where I want you to not attribute any types of feelings to the number that you're going to come up with. And this starting point has 3 components. When you're starting out, you're going to want to know how much income you make. So what salary you have coming in, if you have any additional income, how much are you expected to make gross before taxes, and how much it actually hits your bank account after taxes. Whether you can express this on an annual basis, or even better, on a monthly, semi-monthly, or bi-weekly basis, depending on how income hits your bank account. The second component that you really want to know in order to triangulate that starting point is what you own in terms of assets and the cost to own that asset. As an example, if you have a car, what are the costs associated with owning that car? Is there a loan? These are also numbers that you're going to want to understand for your starting point. And the last thing you're going to want to know is who is making decisions around the money that you have, whether that be cash in your bank account or assets that you own in, say, a pension or retirement savings. In addition to knowing who, you're also going to want to know how much are they charging you in order to make those decisions over your money. Once you have all of those numbers as your starting point, you'll be able now to determine your net worth, a very important calculation in figuring out how you're going to obtain your wealth goal. So your net worth is essentially everything that you own minus everything that you owe. Assets minus liabilities. What are typical assets? Typical assets are cash, bank accounts, retirement savings, whether they be in a pension or TFSA and RSP or any non-registered accounts, or any other investments that you're holding outside of retirement. It could mean a home or other properties that you own, as well as a vehicle. And when it comes to these physical assets like a home or a car, you just want to get a rough indication of what they are worth today. So if you had to sell them today, what are they worth? Now we're going to look at liabilities. And liabilities are bank loans, any credit card debt, if you owe anyone money, including your family, if you own a car or you own a house, what are the loans or mortgages and debt associated with those assets? You're going to want to catalog those as well too. And then you're simply going to take the total of all the assets minus the total of all the liabilities to get to your net worth. So as an example, if someone has $40,000 in financial assets, so bank accounts and investments, and owns a house of $600,000 with a mortgage of $300,000 and also has credit card debt of $15,000, well, their net worth is the sum of their assets minus the sum of their liabilities, or in this case, $325,000. Whatever that number is for you, whether it's positive or negative, don't treat it like a report card. It's your starting point. What's important is everybody has different starting points. According to Statistics Canada, in their survey of financial security, the most recent data available from 2023 shows that the average Canadian has a net worth of $738,200. However, when you look at the median household net worth, it's $519,700. The average actually gets pulled up by a small number of very wealthy households. Stats Canada's own data shows that the top 20% of Canadians hold roughly 2/3 of all household wealth in Canada. The median is more of an honest comparison where half of households have more and half of households have less. You could even look at this broken down a little bit more by age. The median climbs through working years. So under 35 sits around 159,000, from 35 to 44-year-olds around 409,000, from 45 to 54-year-olds 675,000, and essentially peaking between 55 and 64-year-olds around $873,000, with a decline for those over 65 at $739,000 as those Canadians begin drawing down on what they've saved. Wherever you land on that curve, it's just a starting point. So don't treat it like a deadline or something that you have to have achieved. Again, each one of our destinations are individual and specific to you. Here's the number that actually matters more than just the median net worth. And this has to do with one of the largest assets that Canadians own, which is their house. The median house, according to Stats Can or principal residence, sits at about $500,000. So your house is real wealth, but it's just not liquid wealth. It's not something that you can actually take out today and spend today. You have to do a lot of work to extract the value of that house. So if you wanted to buy groceries tomorrow, you couldn't actually sell 10% of your house and take that to the grocery store in order to buy food. So it's really important that when you're looking at your net worth and you own property, to calculate two numbers. What is your net worth with the value of your house or your primary residence, any property where you live in it and it's not generating any income, and what is the value of your net worth without that amount? So with it and without. And the number without your principal residence, that number really means how much assets you have to invest or investable assets. And this number is very, very important when it comes to achieving some wealth goals that you might have. I actually want to spend a little bit more time on that investable asset number, because within your net worth statement, that is your real engine of growth. And you want to actually know how much it is costing you in order to own that asset. Now, I did a video the other day explaining how that small fee charged on your investment portfolio can be a real anchor to generating real wealth. And if you have a little bit of time, I'd love it if you take a look at that video, because it is so deceiving how such a small number can make a big impact on compounding your wealth over time. Now, if you've taken a look at your number and it's lower than you've hoped, well, this is not a verdict on you. It's just essentially your starting point. And the ability to map where you're going to tomorrow really depends on where you're starting from today. And if that number is higher than you expected it to be proud of yourself. Don't minimize that accomplishment just because you didn't track the number. If you haven't looked at the number, avoiding it doesn't change the number at all. It just means it's going to get a lot harder to know where you want to go if you don't know where you're starting. I always remember the first time I actually wrote down these numbers to calculate my net worth. And I was in my early 20s, just coming out of university, where I had student loans. I had to buy a car in order to get around with my job. Writing it down, my number was negative. It was very negative. The most important thing is I didn't beat myself up for it. There were valid reasons why my net worth was negative at the time. And I also didn't compare myself to other people. It was just my starting point. And looking ahead now, 20 years later, I'm not in that same position at all. But I think by writing it down, I realized that I wanted to pay off any high interest debt that I had and my student loan debt, and at the same time really start building investable assets that would compound. Every dollar I put towards debt was an increase in my net worth, as well as every dollar that I put towards my investments increased my net worth. The goal was to know my starting point, set my next wealth goal, and make a map to achieve that next goal. Now, if you actually want to build this out for yourself, I have a link to my bridge spending plan at leannehanaway.com/BSP. And in it, you have the entire system to calculating your net worth, as well as the cost associated with that net worth, to develop a whole system that will help you build wealth. I'll see you in the next video.